We now have an answer to the question, is New York City just doing good social media posts about service delivery, or is service delivery actually changing? The plot is showing us New York City Department of Transportation pothole closures 2024 to 2026. The blue line is 2026, and you can see that in March of 2026, the blue line is a lot greater than these two faint lines, which represent 2024 and 2025. Their source is New York City Open Data. They say March 2026 is the highest single month since at least 2020. I think that's kind of funny because their source goes back to 2010. So I think it's kind of funny. You don't have to say since at least 2020, you have the data. And if you plot the whole data set, you can see that March 2026, yeah, it's greater than months in previous years. But before 2020, we have many examples of months where they had greater closure rates. Here's what that looks like in a similar plot to the original. The red line is 2026 and the faint lines are previous years. You can see in this plot that March is always a month where they have the most pothole closures. And you can see that March 2026 is kind of in the middle historically. Greater than more recent years, less than the March spikes in older years. Another thing we can do is plot closures in green and requests in red. So these are requests to the 311 service line in New York City reporting a pothole. And what you can see is that requests and closures, they both move very similarly. And you can also see that there is an enormous spike, much greater than anything historically, in request volume of March 2026. A lot of requests. Maybe it's because winter was especially bad and that caused a lot of potholes. That's why there's always more pothole repair. Maybe it was because there's a news story about a guy who fell off his scooter and died after hitting a pothole. Or maybe it's Zohran Mamdani's pothole blitz, which encourages the public to report road defects to 311. And that leads to really high requests. And then a lot of requests plus some effort from the mayor and the Department of Transportation leads to an increase in closures, which is nearly as big as it used to be before 2020. If we wanted to use this data to make Zohran look bad, we could instead plot pothole closures as percentage of requests. And then we would see it plummeting. We're closing a much smaller percentage of requests. Socialism doesn't work, kids. This is an STL decomposition of pothole closures. In the top graph, it's showing us the long-running trend. Basically, the city is closing fewer potholes over time. The second graph is showing us the seasonal component, so we can see this kind of heartbeat pattern. It used to be that there's a lot more closures in March, and then that pattern kind of degrades. Like the strength of this pattern gets weaker. If this were a heartbeat, we'd say, the patient is dying. And the third component is the residual. This is stuff that's not explained by the long-term trend or the seasonal component. And here we see the big spike in pothole closures in March 26. Well, in my opinion, the city just kind of fell off when it came to fixing potholes. Here we're looking at potholes closed per year. And the point of this plot is that recent years, the annual pothole closure numbers were like half of what it used to be pre-2020. So is service delivery actually changing? Well, it looks like a positive sign. It's moving back towards what it used to be pre-2020, and I think that's good. You're closing more potholes. It's not like some groundbreaking, record-shattering, never-before-happened thing. It's not even as good as it was pre-2020, but it's better than it was the past few years, so that seems positive. Thanks for your time.